Welcome to Trading Lounge, and just a few things. Obviously, the US are in holidays in the next session. Secondly, in our software here, we've added this dividend program in here, and it's sort of designed for covered calls as well on some of those MicroStrategy products as well. So you can just get your portfolio from here, and it just comes in from the dividend dashboard over here. I haven't really had a lot of time to do the testing on the front end, so anybody's doing that, we've got the ETF dashboard over here. Okay, so that's that quickly. And also just another little feature as well is that on the algorithm for the Elliott Wave, we can now look at corrective patterns in here as well, so you can decide how many degrees of subcounts that you need in here. And yeah, so we can just do it like this here. So it's found 8 alternatives, and the way that you get the alternatives is looking at this particular one here. If I click on this here, then you'll see down here it's looking at a running flat. So I mean, a lot of these sorts of programs would just give you the one count. We've left it open to do all the interpretations. So it's not a tool that's going to make you $1 million, but what it will do is it will help you with your wave counting, and also make your work process faster as well. Okay, so don't see it as an answer to everything. It's just an assistant there to help. Obviously, we've got the AI over here as well. But so it's got all these different counts here. So if I just go to number 8 here, it's basically got the same count that I've got coming in here as well. So that's a great little feature. And the P just means projection, okay? So remove subwaves, yeah. So now the indices, okay. So the tops of the indices are for the US market. We've got the cash market that's a little bit lower, and the futures market has popped up on the NASDAQ and on the S&P. And I just want to explain the reason for a bit of a messy top, if that's okay, because here we've got Google, and you can see that Google here, I've got it coming down into wave 4 here, and that would be the same as the cash market for the US markets, the SPX. It'll be much the same for Bitcoin as well, basically. So we've got this market sort of heading downwards, and then we've got say it's sort of, not really its sort of partner, but it's Microsoft here that's been quite bullish, and there's other markets like this too that they can edge a little bit higher. So we've got this sort of mixed basket of things. So normally when I'm looking at indices, there are moving average of all the constituents in there, and I would look at my I follow about 10 stocks or whatever, and I just try to find the majority of the count in there. And at the moment, with the stocks that I cover, which brings me to another point, Alessio covers 50 of the US stocks. We've got a new gentleman coming on. He's going to cover another 50 as well. So we're just onboarding at the moment. But I'll give you the list of stocks next Monday on that as well. So yeah, so I follow half a dozen stocks, and some of those stocks there, you always get the weird ones, like Apple's doing something completely different, and Tesla's doing something completely different. So they've got their own, reasons for that. But then the majority that are sort of moving in this direction, then I could normally class them all the same and put them in the same basket, and it's all pretty sort of reasonably easy to read. But currently, we've got half of my little basket going up and half of them coming down. So it makes the tops on some of these markets that we're looking at with my indices one here. So between the cash market here and the E-minis here, so on the just here, let's go quickly, but the cash market here, I've got it as wave 3 up here with an A and a B and a C coming down here, the same as sort of Bitcoin and Google and whatever. And then the E-minis here, we've got them that have created this little extra high over here. So we need to talk about this extra little bit of high and what we could actually do here, because some of those markets that could push up, we could actually get a little push up here. But I'll talk about that in a moment. I just want to go back here and and start afresh at this particular point. So in the bigger picture for this market here, let me just, I don't know if you can see that toolbar there, but basically what have we got here? 30-minute chart. I should really go to a 2-hour chart, but in a bit of a nutshell, we're looking for, you know, wave 4 to come down, wave 5 here, and then some sort of ABC that may be deep, it may be shallow, depends on what's happening in the world, and it should be a simple 5-3-5 structure, and then we can go up. So our main trade to making money is looking for this wave 2 area here and building in over here. That's our game. We can see that the market was building it's got the beginning of a trend, a middle of a trend, an end of a trend, a cycle. So the beginning, the middle, and end, and you can see that it's bowing over here. It needs to rebalance in, this whole trend needs to rebalance over here to this point. It's starting at sort of, we see it's quite soft in this particular area here, and it's hit the 6,000. It's also got the old highs over here as well, so we know all of that, and we're just starting to see it become weaker and weaker, as we kind of expected. We're just talking about it, and we could see the futures contracts, the large futures contracts were the price was coming closer to the cash market on the uptrend, and also lower volume on the weekly chart as well. So we could see that, that the market is about to bend over. There's just no buyers in there at this particular point in time. So it needs to rebalance and become valuable again, revalue the situation. And so I'm thinking it's like this here. Let's just look at this for a moment. Let me just clear this drawing up here. And I'm thinking that we've got from the B wave here, we'll come down to the C wave, and we'll be looking for 5 waves coming down. And we've got 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. To confirm this would be to pretty much go low at that junction here. Let me just change that there. So a breach of this low here would send it sort of on its way there. Now there'll be a little bit of a bumpy ride there at the 59.80 there, and where's the 59 further down here? So that could be a nice target area down here. So it might not come this low. We'll just basically count the structures as we go. Okay, but that's kind of it. So if it breaks that, then we're on the right side here. Okay, now if we look at and just keep your stop above there for the time being, there's a holiday there, the Feds have had their piece, there's no change as expected. I think they're looking at 2 rate cuts over the year. I thought it was only 1, but there we go, it's 2. So so that's that. So when we look at the E-minis here for a moment, they've done something that's a little bit different. So on the, I won't go into the bigger picture here, but from this wave 4 here going up to wave 5 here. So we've got a kind of, it is quite possible for in counting this here, let's just go over a little bit. So first of all, the cash market, we've got wave 3 sitting over here. Okay, so I'll just put it back here for a moment. Now, there's a couple of ways to interpret this top here. First of all, the little move up here counts as 1 and 2 here, and then this move up through here counts as a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. So I can only get from wave 2 here to wave 3 up there. I can get 5 waves in there. So it's very difficult for me to look at this whole move here as 5 waves. It's more like 3 waves here. Okay, so if that's going to be 3 waves here, yesterday we looked at this here as being a little A wave, B wave, and C wave to this low here, and then we needed to push up from there. So what I can say at this point is that's still valid, having another little move up there, and there's also stocks to prove that. But if it takes this low out here, then that's not valid at that point. Okay, so we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and then this wave 5 would come over to here, and this wave 3 would come over to here. It's just the way that it would have to be at that particular point in time, right? But at the moment, I think that if I just move these to the left over here for a moment, not that one, but that one. So the other way to count this, because it's just 3 waves up there, I'll just drag this back in over here. I won't worry about the rest of the trend there. I don't need to do anything there at the moment. And I put this here, and then I put this over here. This will be the other count that we're talking about now. So I'll put the A wave over to here. and the B wave would be over here. And let me just get that other little bit out the way there. Let's just move some of these out the way. We don't need those. Because there's only 3 waves up here, then I could look at that as an ABC pattern to the upside. So that could be actually become a B wave here. And then what would happen would be that then I would need to look at this here as, didn't get that right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So let me just change that into this one. And let me just... yeah, that's cool. That's all right. That's fine. And then this one here, that's 5. This one here would have to be wave 1 here to 2 here, and then 3, 4, and 5 here for the third wave, which normally comes around the bottom of the previous trend anyway. And then this over here, so we'd be looking for this to move down here. So just put that back on there. That's going to confuse that. So I'll just get rid of that. Bit of ducking and weaving. So this would be the other count here coming down here. So all I can say at this point, taking everything into consideration, looking at Google and Microsoft as examples of stocks that can move up and down, and taking into consideration how this can be counted here, then if this low gets breaked here, if this low breaks, then this is the count. If this top breaks here, then it's not confirmed, but it's highly likely that we'll make a new high, and then we'll need to reassess it from that point. In the meantime, we don't really need to do any trading from this point. There's a holiday there. You don't particularly want to short into a large number, so I'm going to remove this here. The NASDAQ might be better because it might not have a large number in front of it. So that would be it here. And our real trading will be, the trend that we're really looking for to make money out to the end of the year is this wave 2 to wave 3 up here. But once again, this is going to be a new high in the markets, right? So there's going to be a lot of Elliott people having this as the final top, end of world, forget it, go home, all of that sort of stuff. Now, that could be true. So we will need to take that opinion on board, but also have our opinion of this being a wave 2 pulling back here, and then we'll be looking for long trade setups once we can confirm that we've actually got impulse waves and we've ticked enough boxes and we can build in slowly and manage our exposure do all the right things at the right time, basically. So I don't know anything about if this is going to be wave 2 here. I believe so, but belief is not good enough, so we need to build a case for that. But in the meantime, yeah, we're just working, basically we're just working, we're just working this market at its old highs over here, just all these old highs here, that's basically what we're moving into. So we're getting exactly what we expected here. So don't go losing money in here, basically, you can do something else, but that's where we are at the moment, and nothing really more to add to that, except that you don't need to be in the market at this particular point. And yeah, anyway, that's my best crack at that, my 2 cents worth. So let's have a look at the NASI. Okay, this is the actual index here. So it hasn't made a new high here. The futures market has for this market. So we can look at it as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave down here for wave 4. So we're looking for 5 waves in this move here. This will be 1 and 2 and probably 1 and 2. It's always a problem to get past previous lows, and these low, this low, this is broken through here. It's basically retesting its supply here. When it gets to here, it will bounce as well. It'll get under there and it'll retest it. It's basically, if we look at the classic trading levels pattern here, if we got a low here, it comes down. It can come back above the level. Sometimes it doesn't need to come back above the level, depending if it's in a third wave or not. I think I've made this one here I was looking for. So it could be quite simple like that as well, or it can just come back above the top there. But it's always, and then you have a look at the price too, what price that you're working with, the trading levels that breaks down into fractals. So 200, we've got 800 here. So we're in group 2 here. So this group 2 here, the lower end of group 2 is the 21,650 there. So if we just have a quick look at this and bring this in here. So this number's here, this 21,650, right? That's these three numbers here are all of group 2. Its job for group 2 is to pin the market back and hold it as support for this larger number here. So it's all about this number here, the 22,000. We have group 1 above, which acts as resistance and pins it back to this number. And this group here pushes it back up to here. And yeah, so as long as this market's in group 2 here, I never really short it. Once you got a low below the level here, then you can short it at that point. Once that 21,650 there becomes a retested resistance, then you can look to short it at that point, because it's being supported at the moment, you know. You have to know your numbers. So that's that at this point. Yeah, this is not set in stone. This is just my best guess at it, and I'm not too worried about it. I know that wave 4's here, if we are indeed in a wave 4, because the other side of this could be up for wave 1 here with an A wave, a B wave here, and then the C wave to come down, not breaking the low here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So it could be just a little C wave to come down here and then go up from there and not break that low over here, you know. And in that case, then we're looking at the futures market here, what's the names here, where it took out this previous high here, where it did not do that on the cash, but we're left. I won't go into this too much here, but we can count this up in 3 waves. So I can leave wave 4 here, and this could be up for some sort of, you know, 1 and 2 here and moving up. Now it doesn't count very nicely as a wave 1 and 2. Now I can see we've got 5 waves in that move. I've got 5 waves in that move, and then this one here doesn't quite take that out. It takes it out on the S&P though, on the futures. This little spike here takes out these lows here. So I'm kind of left with 3 moves up there. So it looks like an A and a B and a C wave here, and then we come down from here. It's not looking that, you know, it's not ticking any boxes for the impulse wave to move up high. Not to say that it can't, because you just got to be careful at intraday levels about what's what, you know. So we do need to be a little bit careful, but you know, I could say if this low here was broken, then we'll come down here further. I mean, it's basically testing this number here, so that's the 22,000. So it's checking it. It's broken through. You see how it's gone back up above there in 3 waves, and now it's coming down. You know, this would normally be the short trade here. Across, you'd be short at this point, and now it's coming here and checking this one back again. So we're getting these lower highs here. So this here, if we look at this again, here, this is what it's done. We've got this low here, and it's gone back up in 3 waves. Then it's come back down here. We've got our entry here. But this little pattern in here, just by the by, this little pattern in here, just moving that straight line there, really what's on a fractal term, this little pattern in here would be this bigger pattern here happening, all wrapped up in this little one here. So this is setting up for, so you just have the stop above there and bring the stop down to the next one here. And if you wanted to add to the position, you can just add on this low here and keep the stop above the level there as well. So basically, if I go in there on a smaller intraday basis there, it's just retesting this. So is it the resistance yet? Is it confirmed as resistance? Not quite, but it's sort of, it's got one box ticked to the downside, one more move here, and you know, that's why you'd split your bet up at that point. You know, edging into a market, you just sort of edge in, you know. Okay, so that's that. Let's have a look at the European markets, the DAX. Okay, for the DAX, this is the futures here, and we've already got wave 3 up here, and we're way down here at the moment. So we've been, all this week, we've been talking about having wave A here and wave B, expecting it to go up a little bit further. I could consider this a wave 4, but I've got to kind of look at the timing now too, because all of these markets will sort of finish off their wave 4s together, because markets basically top together and then they have their bottoms together, and you know, all these sorts of things. And within that space, you'll have leaders and followers, you know, some ranging more than others, and also and other weird things going on, whatever's going on in their life between all of that. So I think that we still it's got really good support here at the moment, and sitting on top of group 1, so number 3 here. 20, not so much the 23,000. The 23,000 is important. That's here. That's also a group 1, but this is also a smaller fractal group 1 in here of 300 here. So it's really sitting there, and you know, this is number 3 is like number 8. They're strong numbers. 1 is the strongest number, of course, then 5. So it's just sitting there. So we'll see how that ball bounces, because that's basically what it's done here. When you drop a ball on the ground, it hits here, bounces, and then you get these, you know, you start to get these lower highs all the time until it drops through and then retest it as resistance and drop down. But it won't be going, you know, I wouldn't short into group 1. It's not a good thing. Sometimes I can be proven wrong on that, but generally speaking, it's a bumpy ride in there, and the risk reward factor's not there. If you're short already, that's a different thing. But I wouldn't open up a trade in front of a big number, and especially when you're looking for an end of it there. So yeah, it's, you know, it is what it is at this point. So I don't see any other way to count it unless I put this as the A and the B here, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4 here, but that overlaps that. So I think we've got the best sort of count for that. I'll just have a look at the cash here. It's not. Yeah, I think we're on the right track. We don't have to worry about that. We'll have a look at the FTSE, and we'll just go to the futures market here. Okay, so on the futures market, excuse all the levels on here. I just wanted to bring in the bottom here, and we can see that, you know, the market was strong here, all through here. We got the building processes of 1s and 2s and nice strong third wave, and now it's really bowing over here, you know. So we know that it's kind of, well, you know, it's something weird's going on with it, isn't it? I mean, all of this move through here was a little bit sort of tough at that point, and just a bit hard to count all that through there. So it's been a bit of a struggle for me. I don't know if I got this right, but if we got the US markets right, that means that we should be coming down here for wave 4 before sort of heading higher here for wave 5 at the 9,000, which is a medium level over here for that, and then we'll have our sort of ABC pattern at that point. But currently we're in this wave C here. There might be some relationship between wave A and wave C, and it may not be equality. It may be sort of deeper, because we also need to think about this wave 4 down here and this wave 4 here of one lesser degree and those sort of things. So I don't really know how that's going to play out, and there's also really good support here at the 800 as well. So we'll just sort of see how this goes. It's look, to be honest, I could easily have this count wrong, but all I'm trying to do is bring it in line with the other markets. Now, I could make it a bit more complicated. I could get this wave 5 of 3 here and set it on this one over here. That also works as well. And I could include all of this here as still the A wave here. So I'd still have the A wave here as an ABC here for the A wave, and then a B and then a C wave here. So yeah, it does look like it wants to sort of push up a little bit further. I have to get inside to have that a bit of a look, but all of this here doesn't really look like a nice impulse wave to the upside. You know, it looks like we've got an A and a B wave here and a C wave that could move up 61.8%. And what numbers do we have over here? So yeah, so it's at 50 at the moment. So after 5 is number 8, so 5 and 8, and then between 5 and 8 we've got group 2. So 8865 is the lower end of group 2. And then so I'll just put it at the 80 here somewhere, so we might get a pop up there for that. So yeah, anyway, we're just not interested in being in the market for this one at the moment, and we'll just need to see how this plays out here. The FTSE's, you know, kind of can do its own little thing for a while as well. In fact, this whole trend up here, it's been a bit of a leader, so now it's just stopped being a leader. So let's see if the not only the FTSE but the UK can lead again. If we can get out of debt. Got themselves in a tricky situation, haven't they? Canada's a bit the same but better off. Australia's much the same as Canada. Yeah, always something different going on in the world, isn't there? So yeah, I think it's something like this here, you know, with my wave 5 over here and my wave 1 over here. Okay, let's have a look. So nothing to do here at all. I do not enter this market at this point. Okay. Okay, over to the Australian market, and we're looking at the futures market here on a 30 minute. So much the same thing, you know, all these April lows that have come up through here, all these markets are pretty much doing the same. It's just that some of the tops are not all the same in some of the markets. And you know, we counted 5 waves down here for the A wave, the B wave, and then we're looking for the C wave down to come down here further. I just don't think it's over yet. That's all. There's probably more to come down. I could look at all of this as 1 and 2 here, and then coming down for 3 here. So I could view it. Can I snap onto that? Not quite. This one. So it's probably something like this. This would be lining up with the rest of the world at that point. Five is the second strongest number, so it's piercing through it. It's, you know, but it hasn't found it as the resistance just yet. So that needs to occur, and we need to kind of get 5 waves between this one and this one. So I can see there's a couple of different ways we could count them out there, but probably 1s and 2s at this point. So it'll be something like that. Let me just have a look at. I did look at. This is Shane's. What's the name? So that's the 16th of June. So it's a little bit old. And if I look at CBA here quickly, haven't really seen it for a while. Okay, so yeah, so it's probably CBA's probably got. Oh, I don't need to do that. It's probably got something like this to go here, I'd imagine, to finish that off as a wave 4. That would be my guess. I thought I had this labelled. That's what I'm thinking. I'm just not sure if that's on that one or that one. I have to double check that. Let me just double check that. Okay, that solves the problem. That's that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, maybe. Something's not quite the one. I'm missing one little wave. Anyway, doesn't matter. Just checking it out, you know. So that's that. So yeah. Anyway, we don't have to do anything. So we'll just wait for these to play out. That's all. I mean, at this stage, what we normally do with all of this is, but if that's the B wave, we can go long above that. But obviously we want to improve that. But that's how it would sound if we got to push up here. But even we wouldn't go long there too, because if that just pushed up here, right, we wouldn't go long at that point. We'd wait, because that would be 5 waves, and we'd just wait for this to come back, and then we'd improve on that and bring this down to here and all those sort of things. But you know, even if it does come down here somewhere as 3, 4, 5 here somewhere, we'd probably see 5 waves up to the number 5 here and some sort of ABC back again. If we do have 5 waves here, we could buy on this low down here, and also on the B wave. So we could get 1 or 2 positions in here and then continue to build on top of that. And this will take us up to, well, it'll take us above this, and then we can end up somewhere up here, somewhere maybe 9, maybe even higher. We'll see how that plays out. So yeah, just shooting the breeze, no biggie. Okay, even though the US markets are closed tomorrow, I'll still do a video on the indices because of the futures market, but not on the US stocks.